Never ever meet your heroes unless, of course, somehow, some way they turn out to be Mr. Glynn Turman.
Around town, Hollywood.
Thank you all for coming on this very steamy and wonderful day to celebrate my great friend, Mr. Glynn Turman. We've all heard the saying, never meet your heroes, and we all know why. Because rarely, if ever, does the occasion line up with your expectations. Almost never does it surpass them. More often than not, you end up walking away from the anticipated moment dejected, cursing yourself, wishing you could forget about it and go back to that movie that you made in your head, the one with very different scenes and end credits. My advice, just don't do it. But before I get into that, let me roll back the clock about 50 years to 1975. I was 10 years old, and I was attending a brand new school in Denver. We'd moved there from Kansas City, Missouri, and I was experiencing culture shock of leaving behind my extended family and dropping into a suburban environment surrounded by very few people who looked like me. I was good at making friends, so I managed, but it was destabilizing. And one of the saving graces was a great teacher who formally introduced me to acting. I say formally because according to my parents, acting up and acting a fool was something I was already pretty good at. Theater was intoxicating, it was freeing, it allowed me to express myself, play in the sandbox with the fellow seekers of that thing that made the tuning forks go off in our bellies. Now something else happened in 1975. A movie was released in theaters that I was surely too young to watch, but sly enough to sneak into. It was populated by folks resembling the folks I just moved away from, and I was immediately intrigued by the movie's vibrancy, its energy, its authenticity. The movie was Cooley High. And it was the first time I laid my eyes on my hero, Glynn Turman. Now I could go on and on about his performance in the film, the nuance, the subtleties, the humor, the clear intellect, the cool, the assuredness, his sexiness, his vulnerability. But what knocked me completely over and burned itself into my memory banks forever is the moment Glynn's character, Preach, kneels over the beaten body of his friend Cochise as the L train barrels overhead, drowning out Preach's agonized cries for help. The scene should be required viewing for all actors. Glynn conveyed such pain and heartache and loss in that moment that for me the rest of the world just melted away. I literally forgot I was sitting in the theater, and I was feeling instead the asphalt and the gravel that was digging into my knees as I knelt under those train tracks right next to him, mourning his dying friend, wishing I could turn back the clock and bring Cochise back to life. The moment is indelible. I watched the movie just the other day, tears flowing from my eyes all over again. You see, unbeknownst to Glynn, my hero had crystallized my path that day. I knew I wanted to move people in the very same way that Glynn had moved me. Transport them to other worlds, set tuning forks off in their bellies that couldn't be ignored. In that moment, Glynn helped me to understand the empathetic power of acting, shape-shifting, transmuting yourself, disappearing into characters to get deeper truths that affect all of us. Glynn became my due north that day, and luckily some 3 decades and change later, he became my acting partner, my friend, a mentor, my TV show as well as my surrogate father, and hopefully a future collaborator. Let the circle be unbroken. So I say to you again, be mindful, never ever meet your heroes unless, of course, somehow, some way they turn out to be Mr. Glynn Turman.
Rogee Hollywood Magazine, a production of Rogee of Beverly Hills.